this is one reason why Smackdown does not need to be 3 hours. The first 5 minutes this week was Joe Tessitorre and Wade Barrett walking through the building going, isn't it nice to be around so much history? And look, it's always good to see something different, and I did actually think, there's some interesting facts. Don't want to be that guy though, I can feel it in my tootsie toes. It just felt a little bit like panic. And yes, of course, it's nice they got to go, oh my gosh, look at all these matches we have on the show. But surely you do that beforehand, which is why people tune into the show. I don't know why it irked me. I just don't think at the moment SmackDown kind of feels right at 3 hours, especially because some of WWE's best shows in 2024 were Smackdowns when it was just go, 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 go. And you left thinking, man, I need more of that in my veins. Now being a nerd, it's getting it down. Welcome to Ups and Downs. They turned around right away though because Rey Mysterio walked out and he was in his hometown. And never forget, we don't talk about this enough sometimes, he is a legend and he is a game changer and he has been going so long. If you want to walk into my house and say he could be the greatest of all time, I don't think I'd argue with it. Of course he was there to declare for the Royal Rumble too. And I have a question, if it is this easy and you can just walk out and declare for the Royal Rumble, why doesn't Tozawa do it? He should go up to Triple H and say, listen, I just need 30 seconds on Raw. Then he gets the mic and goes, I'm in the Rumble. Rey's argument for winning wasn't great either, because he was like, I did win the Royal Rumble 2006. Then I went on to WrestleMania 22 to become the world champion. Now listen, that was a wonderful moment in professional wrestling history, but I was a bit like, Rey, that was a long ass time ago. Mysterio then started dropping some of the competitors who were also in the Royal Rumble, and I tell you, it's so jam-packed, it gets me mega pumped. When he also mentioned Eddie Guerrero, which of course was his inspiration all the way back then, and that was nice. And it also made the following interruption even worse, but therefore also best. That wasn't a sentence. Here came Kevin Owens. Now he was wearing the best t-shirt ever. I'm just going to show you it on the screen right now so you can laugh with me. And he was a little bit peeved here, but in a very interesting way. He was like, Rey Mysterio, you are a legend. You are one of the best. But I tell you what pisses me off, we've never had a fight. It just means his CV isn't complete, even though he did main event WrestleMania against Steve Austin, and he did main event another WrestleMania where he won those tag team titles. And essentially, right in front of our eyes, we were setting up this match. He's also excited because if Mysterio does win the Royal Rumble, and after he beats Cody Rhodes, well, look, he is the real WWE champion, so they can get into it again at WrestleMania. Just when Rey was like, listen, KO, I really like you, and you're a good guy. When it comes to all this Cody WWE champion stuff, well, you're totally wrong, and you're making it up. Of course, that sent Owens off. He was like, are you kidding me? I've deserved all of this. And when Rey tried to calm him down, he's like, man, you're turning into Drew, and maybe you're turning into my son, Dominic Mysterio. I was like, shouldn't have done that. I mean, it would have been better if you called him a serial killer. KO then tried to attack him because, of course, the respect was gone. This is Rey Mysterio, damn it, at the start of SmackDown in his hometown, and he was able to get rid of the despicable heel. This was fine, though, although, yes, I will admit that it does kind of feel like the Rumble is a few weeks away, and WWE has gone, well, we have to stall a little bit. We can't just continue to have Cody and Kevin yelling at each other. But listen, sometimes you just have to enjoy what is delivered to you. Kevin Owens versus Rey Mysterio, and we've never done that? That is totally bonkers. Naomi and Bianca Belair were then backstage, and here's some advice for you. Never use them as your detective agency, because they were like, oh yeah, we still haven't solved who attacked Jake Cargill. I was like, man, it's been about 4 months. So I will be the one to say it. It doesn't even feel like they're trying, although that kind of tied into what was next, because Naomi was a bit like, let's not worry about that, and let's focus on our tag team match later instead. So once again, if you are looking for the culprit, it's probably Naomi. She also told Belair to be careful with that braid because, of course, last week she had accidentally hit her with her hair, which is something I can't relate to. Once again, I was like, man, I think she'd turn in heel. Nick Aldis was then making this Rey Mysterio versus Kevin Owens match when Cody Rhodes walked in. It's like, bada bing, bada boom, I'm totally healed 100%. Aldis then responded by going, oh man, I'm so glad you are here because I need to add something to that ladder match Royal Rumble contract. That's all he said. He goes, I need to put an amendment in there. Imagine this happening in real life. Oh, thanks for coming, Steve. I need to add something to your contract. All right, what is it? I can't tell you. Well, I'm not going to sign it then, am I? Damn it, you'll sign it! Now Rhodes agreed that he would sign this secret, even though he had no idea what it was. But Kevin Owens has to sign it first. So they're children. Well, I'm just going to throw a quick down in there, because it was Bianca Belair and Naomi taking on Nia Jax and Candice Lerae. And listen, I don't know if this is accurate, but it feels like we've done this match 467 times. I was a little bit confused because Nia and Candice don't seem to give a damn about Tiffany Stratton anymore. I mean, I assume they would have popped up in the main event. We'll talk about that later, but they didn't. all that's getting her down. No, it does make me laugh though, because as soon as the bell rang, she just attacked Naomi. So Lerae was like, well, she is my best friend. I'll do it too. Really though, that just pissed off Bianca Belair, who was then throwing humans into other humans, because why shouldn't he do that? And when Candice went for the crossbody, Bianca was like, nah, and she just picked her up. So seriously, I understand we have to sort out the tag team division, but in 2025, Bianca Belair's got to be pushed back to the top of the singles chart. Candice LeRae then pulled her hair to get out of this, and once again I was like, man, I don't know what's going on here, when Nia Jax hit a Samoan drop. It's totally fine, she is Samoan. We then got another crossbody courtesy of Bianca Belair because she was getting beaten up. That move is coming the maneuver of 2025, when she got the hot tag to the Jade Cargill Killer. Sorry, I mean Naomi. She was able to get the split-legged moonsault, but Candice then broke up that pin. Then fair play to Lerae. Bianca was like, ha ha, here comes my springboard. But Candice whacked her right in the nose. Sadly, she then ate the corner, and this would have been a 1-2-3, but instead Nia Jax came in, and she was gonna drop the leg, but you know the deal. The good guys got out the way, so Nia just leg dropped her own partner. I don't think she meant to do that. Naomi then tagged in and hit that butt bomb thing, wherever the flub it is, and she got the 1-2-3. So yeah, the tag team champions are still standing tall. I will say it kind of felt like it didn't need to exist. I'm not really sure the direction we are going in, but it was fine and it was fun. I just don't want WWE to forget about those championships. They did so much better in 2024. At the moment, nobody is really talking about them at all. But again, fun is fun. Byron Saxton was then talking to Bayley about her big title match later with Tiffany Stratton. I liked this because it meant we were bigging it up. Bayley was like, listen, this time last year I won the Royal Rumble, so I'm ready to go again. For context too, if she does start talking about her Royal Rumble win in 2044, well, that would be the equivalent of what Rey Mysterio did at the start of this show. Bales also knows she could have done better as champion, which I thought was a good line because that is true. Always felt like we weren't going all the way in. But she also was like, do you know why I lost that belt? Because that damn Tiffany Stratton revenge. So I did like the callbacks when we cut to Michin, who was talking to B-Fab, who is finally back on SmackDown. I tell you, nobody vanishes from SmackDown more than B-Fab. She was telling Michin that she will definitely win the US Championship soon. And Chelsea Green and Piper Niven must have been here, because they just walked in, and of course eventually Piper and B-Fab fell out. They're going to be having a match later. Why not? Carmelo Hayes was out next. This is what I was talking about later. Because Jimmy Uso had already made his way to the ring and they were about to have a match. And Melo decided to fire some shots. He was all like, haha man, you nothing but Roman Reigns is lucky. And he in the Rumble. And what are you doing? Absolutely nothing. I was like, okay, well, I'm sure Melo is going to declare for the Rumble, given that he just mentioned the Royal Rumble, and given there's a microphone. But he didn't do it. Once again, what's the rules? We then did get to this match though, and man, this is exactly what I want from SmackDown in 2025. Maybe I'm forgetting it, but I don't think I've ever seen Jimmy Uso versus Carmelo Hayes before, and because they were in the spotlight, I think they decided, do you want to cook? The other guy went, yeah man, let's cook. They got some eggs, and it tasted delicious. Jimmy just threw Melo into the ring as well, because he was being such a dickhead. So Hayes was like, all right, fine, and he stomped on him like he was a bug. Uso then came back with an arm drag neck breaker, and that's me taking two moves and making it a singular one when he hit the big dive. I think if you were watching this on TV, it cut to the ad break, but I watched on Netflix, so I didn't see shit. Hayes then got the reverse DDT for a 1-2-ooh when they double clotheslined each other, like it was 1987. This is good, because in 2025, bring that back, bring back the atomic drop, damn it, give me a double axe handle. Jim then got the Samoan drop for the 1-2-ooh, and again, this is okay because he is Samoan, but when he went for the splash, he went right into the first 48. That was another 1-2-ooh. That's when I sat there, I was like, that'll do, pig. That'll do. Jimmy was then able to get out of the way of nothing but net. He hit this kick that was super, and that was another good 1-2-ooh. And it actually started to go, oh my gosh, I don't know who's going to win. Uso then got the big spear, because if you're in the bloodline, you have to hit a big spear. When, of course, we did what we were always going to do. Jimmy went for the big splash, when Jacob for two, maybe quite literally, teleported him from nowhere. He was on the ring apron, and because this had happened, Jimmy Uso couldn't believe it, so he looked at Jacob for two. Jacob for two looked at him like they were about to fall in love when Tamatonga came in. He pushed him off the top rope. The ref was like, you did this right in front of me, disqualification. Now bless the Bloodline 2.0, because I admire their dedication to being in the back and saying, you know, we could go out there right now, or we could wait until we feel like it is going to be the finish, and we can do it then. The other guy goes, yep, that's a good plan. They then absolutely destroyed Jimmy Uso, and bless Carmelo Hayes. He was like, man, I'm part of the gang, so they beat him up too. Now look, I understand why we keep doing this. The Bloodline 2.0 need to come across like a threat, but I was enjoying this match so much, I really did want a winner, and I really did want a loser. So I am gonna give it a down, even though I understand why WWE does this. I can't handle my brain, it's stupid. But honestly, the match was so good, who the fluff cares? Take that negativity and stick it up, you tookers. It's getting it up. And honestly, I tell you, what came next may have been even better. Because Solo Sikoa did indeed make his big return to SmackDown. He was the saddest man on the planet. He was all like mopey, he looked at the fans, I think he had tears in his eyes. And even though Jacob passed him a microphone, once again he just stared out into the abyss, but he was like, nope, I can't do it, although he didn't audibly say that, and he just walked off. Honestly, you should have seen Jacob's and Tama's faces. They were not happy at all. I think they're gonna kill him. I tell you too, come that Tribal Chief ceremony in a few weeks, you just know that Solo will go, I acknowledge you, Roman Reigns. And then yeah, probably when the Bloodline is going to attack. As there was a microphone on the floor though, Fatu grabbed this, and man, we are going to send this guy to the moon in 2025, because he just went off with this promo saying, I'm done with the hate, I'm done with the disrespect, I'm the guy, and you think I'm crazy, but I tell you this, I'm only just getting started. He also said on his worst day, nobody can even touch him. I like to think he meant it literally. So he's having a bad day, someone grabs him, he's like, no, I can't handle it, don't touch me. You've got to watch this though, because it will get you so damn excited. And I really think he needs to be one of the guys in 2025, and that rhymes. When something rhymes, giving it an up, good promo. LA Knight then proved he would suck if he was leading a battle, because his surprise attack was preempted by his music. The Bloodline 2.0 literally looked at him, and surprise, surprise, he got in the ring and he got his ass whipped. It then got even funnier because Braun Strowman's music hit. So what the hell happened in the back? What's the plan? Okay, well you go out there and you see what you can do, and if you do terribly, I'll come out there too. That's a terrible plan. Braun ate Tama though before we did do the big step down between Jacob Fatu and Braun Strowman, and we are doing this at Saturday night's main event. I should say, bravo WWE. I need this more than oxygen. It's not true, I die. So yes, aside from my little foibles, all of this is seriously good, and actually come WrestleMania, it could be LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu for the US Championship. I'm not going to get mad at that. Although I just realized, where the hell was Shinsuke Nakamura? He just didn't turn up for work. Santos Escobar was then telling Los Garzas, well done for exposing Pretty Deadly last week. It's like, what do you mean exposing? You just beat him. Him and Elektra Lopez then basically gaslit the Garzas by going, oh man, winning a match means nothing, and you better go out there and win that tournament that's not a tournament and become the #1 contenders. It was them versus the Machine Guns, and they totally lost. Now I am going to say, while I do quite like the direction the SmackDown tag team scene is going in, it's also just a little bit wishy-washy. Like, the matches are really good, but I think eventually some of them are going to have a microphone, and they're going to have to talk to us and make us care just a little bit more. Alex Shelley and Angel, though, began when eventually Chris Sabin and Berto tagged in, and they went at it as well. I'm just going to say it again, I'm going to double down. They're all very, very good professional wrestlers. Alex then hit some chops, which I think was so offensive, everybody started to fight. But it was the Garzas that came out the best, because Angel did some slapping, so Berto did some slapping, and when that was done, Angel pulled off his pants. If you don't watch wrestling, you just listen to me, that sounds offensive and terrible. They then freaked out because they obviously didn't want Alex Shelley to get the hot tag to Chris Sabin, but you're not going to believe this. After Alex got beaten up for a little while, he did get the hot slap to Chris, and this Sabin went wild. He just hit a bunch of dragon screws while Shelley got a med pack and applied the figure 4, so these guys really hate legs. But man, this double team that Angel and Berto then hit, I don't even know how to describe it. They basically each picked up a Motor City Machine Gun and stacked them high because Angel was grabbing them, and then as he was slamming them, Berto kind of came off the ropes and he helped too. I mean, that really should have been the finish, but it only got a 1-2. Chris then killed everyone with a dive, and just when they were going to hit the Skull and Bones, Pretty Deadly turned up. They were more useless than LA Knight. Like, they did interfere, and they did stop the move, when eventually the Motor City Machine Gun's like, well, we'll just hit Skull and Bones anyway. 1, 2, 3. Now, I did sort of like that, because these two guys cannot do anything, even when they do try, and that does make me laugh. And now I do believe the Motor City Machine Guns are either going for the titles or they're in the finals of this not tournament. I don't know. Either way though, the Machine Guns have absolutely found their momentum at the moment, and they do get more over every single week because they are so good in the ring. And again, we do need to kind of shift things around a little bit, but I am going to give it an up I'll just repeat what I said earlier, fun is fun. This insane contract negotiation then continued because Aldis found Kevin Owens and said, listen, Kevin, I know you're getting ready for your Rey Mysterio match, but you need to agree to this addendum thing. And Kevin said, well, has Cody agreed? And Aldis said no. And Kevin said, well, I'm not doing it until Cody agrees. So they're children. Owens made the best point too. He's like, I am preparing for a match. Why are you trying to distract me? Also had the greatest line ever, I'm trying to tape my wrists. Like nobody in the history of the world could talk while also taping their wrists. He's the best. When B-Fab basically got squashed. Good grief. And this is really hard because I do think Piper Niven deserves more and she's meant to be a monster, so it's fun to watch her run through someone. But at the same time, B-Fab had a pretty good end of 2024, so she needs a little bit more of a push too. It can't have been more than 2 minutes, and really, it is B-Fab's fault that she lost, because she was doing all right when they fought to the outside, and because Chelsea Green, I assume, was saying mean things at her, B-Fab just dove off the ring apron. She took her out with a clothesline. When she went to get back into the ring, Piper gave her the senton when she hit the Piper driver for the 3. So shout out to Piper Niven. She's another person that's gone, well, for my finishing move, maybe I'll just take my name and then stick driver at the end of it. Green and Niven were then going to kill her when, of course, Meechin came out with Kenny the Kendo stick and whipped all of their asses. Well, no, she whipped Piper Niven's ass. Chelsea got away. So this was totally fine. The positive spin is that B-Fab is back on TV, and you can see what we're going to do here. It's all set up for a wonderful tag team match. Hopefully within that, B-Fab can have more, and of course Meechin can pin the champ. Then we can do our big final match between Meechin and Chelsea Green. So listen, this didn't light up the world. I always say this. You don't have to write home about it, but I thought it was decent enough. We also got a Bob Uecker tribute here, who very sadly did pass away this week, and man, he was all up in professional wrestling over the years, and a damn funny guy when it was time for Tiffany Stratton's big interview. Now, this was important because, of course, she was responding to Bayley, and even though she did kind of put Bayley over a little bit, she was also like, man, I'm Tiffany Stratton, I haven't even been on SmackDown a year, and I'm the champ, and we need to keep doing this. Fans are cheering her regardless, so just keep her as a massive asshole. It's most definitely working. Kevin Owens versus Rey Mysterio then happened for the first time ever. I am pleased to have been able to witness it. Owens just flipped out early on because Rey Mysterio kept getting the better of him, and that is just old school wrestling. That's why it pleased me, man. Sometimes you just want the hit. Eventually, Kevin was able to slam him on his ass and just ran through him and flattened him for a while. So what did Rey do? He used Barry Barricade. Honestly, I hope they buy presents for Barry every now and then. That dude gets it all the time. Mysterio then did that sliding flip thing he does to the outside, which always looks good. This is when Kevin had a plan. He just kept throwing Mysterio into Tina the Turnbuckle over and over again, because I think he wanted to break his ribs. Mysterio then learned from all of this, and Kevin went in to read the ring post, but then later on, Owens went for the pop-up powerbomb, and instead Rey hit the DDT, and he only got a 1-2 ooh. Once again, I was just like, man, I really enjoy good wrestling. Owens then came back with a splash of the frogs, but Rey Mysterio kicked out of that too, when he also basically hit a modified destroyer. When eventually Kevin Owens whammed him with a stunner, and this damn masked man kicked out. And that's when you knew, okay, Kevin is clearly going to win this, but we are making sure we send the message out, this is Rey Mysterio, he's a damn hero. He also hit Kevin's asshole button, because just as Rey Mysterio was about to win, Owens was all woozy-goosey and accidentally on purpose knocked the referee into the ropes, which meant, of course, Rey fell onto his penis, which is when Kevin Owens got the pop-up powerbomb, 1, 2, 3. So we did protect Rey here, essentially because there had been an unexpected groin attack. Of course, that wasn't enough, and even though Kevin Owens respects Rey Mysterio, he was going to give him the package pile driver when out came Cody Rhodes, and we got Brawl number 4,672. Now, they do this very well, and I'm so excited about the Rumble match, but again, because that pay-per-view, PLE, is so far away, we just are taking our time, although we did learn loads more after this, because Cody did bump into Nick Aldis, and we are going to do a contract signing on Saturday night's main event. We will then finally find out what this damn extra thing is, because they did not tell us on SmackDown, and do you know who's going to be overseeing it? Repo Man. It's not Repo Man, if only it was Repo Man, but it is flipping Shawn Michaels. Load up those legends. So I have no issues with this whatsoever. I am so excited for that ladder match, as I keep talking about, and yes, it's fine to have a dangling carrot. We do have to kind of ponder what this thing in the contract is going to be. Like, what if you can't have a massive tattoo on your neck or you'll lose the match? Cody Rhodes is totally screwed. We then cut to the back and we saw Pretty Deadly run into DIY. They were so mad. Ciampa was like, you suck, man. We want to give you opportunities, but you keep letting us down. When it turned out they were playing good cop, bad cop, because Gargano walked in, he said, we just think you're great. Why don't you let us help you? This was basically emotional manipulation 101, which is when Apollo, I actually watched the show, Cruz walked in. It's like, bros, if you believe anything they're saying, you're absolute goobers. Johnny must have heard that too, because he just flew back in and destroyed Apollo Crews and threw him into a box-like structure. Once again, I don't really know where any of this is going. When we just had the best video package, because at first it was kind of teasing that it was for Tiffany Stratton, but it wasn't, man. Charlotte Flair is coming back. She's not there. Now I will guess that it will be the Rumble, and I get it. Some people are like, why didn't we keep this as a surprise? Well, I have two pretty good reasons. Because number 4 is that WWE probably has other shocks ready to go. And number 67 is that Flair is coming back from a massive injury. She is a huge star. We haven't done this in a while. Let's sing it from the rooftops. I mean, we've seen it work before. Go back to 2002, as Rey Mysterio likes to do. When Triple H did it, man, that turned him into an even bigger star than he already was. And Charlotte Flair is exactly that. Also, this had a way different vibe to it. I am very excited. Also, it came just before the main event with Tiffany Stratton. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I keep your eye on that one, giving it an up. When, of course, we did get to this World Championship match between Bayley and Tiffany Stratton, and man, I thought this was so well done. Like, we did have the Roxanne Perez stuff, so that Bayley can now go on and fight her too, but this was all about getting the message across. Tiffany Stratton is an up-and-coming superstar. She's about to hit the very top. And I know some people are debating the fact that it did go 20 minutes, but how do you expect Tiffany Stratton to improve if you don't put her in these situations? Bayley always understands the assignment and knows what to do. And all of this is only going to help that women's championship, because I don't know why it works this way, but when a match does get time, it tells your brain, your tum-tum, it's important. Stratton is only going to keep getting better and better as well, especially with experience like this. And within the world of kayfabe, we saw that too, because Bayley went for the Bayley to belly, and Tiffany said no. Bayley was able to break her neck with a neck breaker, although I'm sure her neck didn't actually break, when she too also accidentally went into the ring post. I was like, well, they must have been watching the earlier match. As Bell's arm was now a little bit loosey-goosey, Tiffany basically tried to rip that thing off when they got back to their feet. They punched each other in the face. Bayley then wanted to dive, but kind of got stuck between her ringside friends, which is when Tiffany hit the hip attack. When she also thought, well, it'd be a great idea if I do throw myself to the outside. Nope, Bayley grabbed her, Bayley to belly, she was dead. Bayley then got the superplex as Tiffany Stratton came back with a bomb of power for a 1-2. When we did get our Roxanne Perez portion, because you know the deal with wrestlers, they cannot handle other wrestlers being on the outside. So Bayley looked at Roxy, and Roxy looked at her, and somebody with a sign may have popped up and gone, whoa, on the next NXT pay-per-view. Sadly, that part didn't happen. So once again, you could say that after this, Perez could have got in there and interfered, but this was way better. Because just to jump to the finish, yes, Tiffany Stratton did beat Bayley, and that should be underlined as a big deal. It's flipping Bayley. She was also able to stop the PME when she just hurled Tiffany right into Tina the turnbuckle. But when she went for the rose plant, Stratton kind of wiggled and jiggled, and all of a sudden she had Bayley in the Alabama Slam position. She nailed that. When she looked to the top rope, she flew up there. She got the prettiest moonsault ever. 1, 2, 3. And my only teeny tiny bugbear is they did kind of speed up towards the end here, and then the show just did go off air, because obviously you have to go with the TV time constraints, but it would have been great if we could have just got an extra minute, as everybody, including the commentators, went, oh my gosh, Tiffany Stratton just beat Bayley. Still though, I thought this came off as mega important. If they did do it again in a year, it will be even better. But this is the way, and if the plan is to do Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton at WrestleMania, don't just do it because Tiffany is the champion. Do it because from now to mid-April, she beats everyone, including Bayley, by the way, who is a former 4-horsewoman. That's very hard to say. This was some good professional wrestling, my friends. This is getting it up. And yes, it was bizarre that Nia Jax was nowhere to be seen, but I've talked about that. I'll throw it into the ether. And I'm going to give the show overall an up, but more importantly, what do you think about it? Drop me a comment below. Also, you can click the video on the screen, which is ups and downs from Monday Night Raw, to get all of my daft opinions about professional wrestling. But otherwise, my friends, enjoy your weekend. I appreciate your time. See you soon.